Hello guys, it's another beautiful day in the neighborhood. Although it is overcast. My name is Clement and this is Travel and That's What's Up. Alright guys, so have you ever used a dating app to go on a date? If you have, this story might be for you. So, there's this app called Zooks. And I found this app while I was scrolling on Facebook. One day this app popped up. And I thought to myself, wow, this is pretty cool. They got a dating app. And this is right after my divorce. Kind of after my divorce. And, I'm scrolling through the app. And I finally log on, get my account and everything. And I meet a couple of different women. It's interesting, having conversations or whatever. I met this one particular woman. She lived in LA, Long Beach. Filipino lady. Short. She was probably like, 5 feet tall, 4'7", 4'9", I don't know. She was short. And she's a beautiful woman. She was older than me too. Maybe 2 years older than me. But very attractive. And we began talking. And when we were talking, we discussed all kinds of things like you do, to try to clear the air, get used to who you're talking to. And hang on, I always forget to turn on this mic. It might go out for a second. All right. So, we're talking, getting to know each other and everything, having all kinds of conversations, basically chopping it up, and everything's going really good, right? So we have countless conversations, and then at some point we agree to meet each other. And now mind you, she lives in LA, Long Beach, California, and I'm in Chicago. But our conversations were going so great. And I was single, so it really didn't matter to me. Going to LA it was a pretty good deal. It really didn't matter. So she had invited me out to LA, and so I got my ticket. Went out there. I met her, and she picked me up at the airport. You might have seen the video. It's on Facebook. It's on. I think it's on TikTok, maybe not on TikTok, but I definitely think it's on Facebook and Instagram, my Instagram account. And she pulled up to the airport. She called me because I didn't know what she was driving. She's like, I got a BMW truck. So I'm like, oh wow, because our conversations, she told me, but when you have a conversation with somebody, you don't think it's all true. You think it's a lot of fluff. Because it's on the internet, and we all know the internet is like the wild, wild west. Anything goes. So of course, this isn't anything different. This is the same type of deal, the wild, wild west. And like I said, she was very attractive. All right, so with knowing that the internet is a slippery slope, I took my chances, and it wound up being a really awesome time. So she picked me up at the airport, got out the car, looking stunning, helped me with my bags. I was shocked. But then, me being a Libra, overthinking everything, I began to wonder, what the hell is going on? So when she got me from the airport, she took me over to my room. And once we got to my room, she was like, what the hell? Because I called myself trying to save some money and be cheap. So she was like, I'm not staying at this hotel. Because, I thought the hotel was nice. You know how like when you book a hotel online and they show you all these nice pictures, all these great amenities. When I told her, because I held it from her, when I told her where I booked and where she needed to take me, she was like, what the hell, because she lived in Long Beach, you know. So she was like, you don't want to stay there, you know, because it's a bad area. That hotel has a reputation and this and that. So, you know, I was like kind of stubborn because you know, this is a woman I just met, and we had been talking on the internet or whatever, but I still didn't know her. So I was like, I'm gonna take my chances. So she was like, all right, well, I'm not gonna stay with you at this hotel. And I was like, cool, because honestly, I wasn't even aware she was thinking about staying with me. I mean, we discussed it, but it wasn't anything in stone. But apparently she had intentions on staying with me. So we dropped my things off. Then we drove around, got some food. She drove me around her neighborhood, showed me where she lived, and all these different things. And like I said, it was really, really good. And so when we got to back to the hotel after going around seeing everything, she stayed with me for a little while. I sat down on the bed, was totally disappointed. Rock hard, cheap, not worth it. She kept talking about me. And then, you know, I was like, all right, I'm getting out of here. Because you can hear everything in the room. You know, everybody next door, everybody outside. It was along by the expressway. I'm trying to think, I think it was a Motel 6, as a matter of fact. I don't know. But we didn't wind, I wound up staying one night, and the next day I got my money back. So the next day came, went down, got my money, because I spoke to them the night before that I let them know, hey, I want to move out of this room. It wasn't what they, you know, what the internet had promised and all of this stuff. So they gave me a little hard time, but eventually what I wound up doing was just canceling that room and paying for the night I stayed, and then later on they reimbursed me, so I went and booked another hotel room. She took me to a place that was super nice. I mean, super nice. Nice breakfast, everything. And this was during, like, right after COVID, you know, like during the COVID time. You know, when everything was closed down and, you know, people didn't want to put food out or anything. But this place, I forget the name of it. I'll find out what it was. But it was super nice. And man, we go to this hotel. She shows up the next morning, rather, and then, you know, she picks me up and looking dynamite. And I'm kind of puzzled because I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is going on? And, you know, my brain is overthinking everything. Because when we were on the internet, all she would do is stare at me, you know, because we'd be doing video chat, and she would just stare at me while we were talking, which was cool, you know. You know, she was checking me out, I guess. But I didn't know to the extent, you know, I kind of think she might have been fantasizing, because, you know, you get on these websites and you talk all types of crazy talk, especially when they're in a whole nother part of the country. You don't really expect to meet these people like that. So a lot of the times when I'm talking on the phone, I don't really anticipate meeting them, because I just don't. I don't know. It's not local. She was nice, thick but petite. I mean, I just liked looking at her. She was nice from head to toe. Pretty feet, pretty hands, nice waist, nice behind. All the curves are in the right place. And, you know, I'm doing the thing, and, you know, older women don't play. I'm just saying it like that. Older women do not play. They know exactly what they want to do. They know exactly how they want it. And she was just like, look, I want to do this. And I was just like, all right, cool. So she started. You know, now this is the first time I ever heard a woman tell me she liked, doing what she was doing to me. Now we didn't get into none of this ass eating stuff, so don't start thinking that. She was just, sucking on my business, But she was just like, I love, I never heard these words before, because I've been married. My wife at the time, when I was married, none of the women I ever dated either, they had never said they loved giving me head. This is something new to me. I never heard that. She's like, it's the right size, I can, it's just it feels so good and this and that. When I'm just like, my mind, she's peeling my scalp off with this talk, because it's not something I'm used to. I've never heard this kind of stuff. So, she's got my, like, you ever heard like the story of the Wizard of Oz or something like that, where the house fell on top of the person and their feet rolled up? I guess that would be the same thing with me. That's how I kind of felt. I was just like, damn, she trick-or-treating me, Here it is, I'm ready to do my thing and make this a super special event. She already way ahead of me. She already had her list of things she wanted to do. And I'm telling you, guys, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. And another piece of advice I'm gonna tell you: do not talk crazy to these women. Don't don't tell them that you're gonna do this and do that. You're gonna fold them up, pack them up, make their toes curl, break them off, beat it up. Leave that shit alone. I'm just saying, because you might run across one that wants all of that, and you're gonna have to perform. Now, I performed, but I felt like she had been in a drought, like, and she told me, she was just like, the last guy, he went off somewhere and blah blah blah, and I was just like, damn, okay. So she wearing me out. I'm not even gonna lie. She is like, back to back to back to back to back. And I'm like, I'm in this situation where I'm like, look, I need to rest. I need to rest. I need to, like, drink some fluids. I need to eat. And she was just like, why ain't it waking up? And I'm just like, this is like round number 7. That's why, this is, she's like, I'll just suck on it and get it hard or whatever. And I'm just like, God damn, what's wrong with this lady? I enjoyed every minute of it. I just didn't expect none of it, like I said, I was thrown off, really, really thrown off by all this extra activity we were performing, And for her to be 2 years older than me, she was like the Energizer Bunny. She was ready. She was like, you're gonna be leaving like in another day or two. I need to get everything out of you. And that made me nervous, because I was like, damn, she trying to make me break condoms. She trying to make me a baby daddy. And she already got 2 kids, and they're almost adult or whatever, like teenager and a young adult. So, and I actually like this lady, so I'm trying to control the flow. I'm trying to, like, preserve the moment. She ain't having none of that. She just like, look, I need you to go as deep as far. I want to be sore. All this old ridiculous, but I guess normal stuff. Because when you get married, all that kind of action go away. Hey guys, look at this tree. It was struck by, oh, I don't want to zoom in on it. I want to show you guys how it looks. Just a small, quick little look. I guess this was struck by lightning maybe, huh? Who knows? But it is pretty unique. All right, so back to the story. So this is like, now we're on like day number 3, I think, and everything's going really smooth. We're having such a great time, and you know, at this point I'm thinking, what the hell am I gonna do now? Like, where do we go from here? Because I can't just be flying back and forth to LA. This is just like the Florida situation. And you might ask yourself, why do I get myself into this situation? Because in the city and town that I lived in, Skokie, there's no one's hanging out, and I'm not gonna date anyone that I work with. You know, none of that was happening. So, you know, I always wanted some type of adventure and want to make sure I actually meet someone new. Because the thing about dating or being married to a Filipino, you know, it seems like most Filipinos know each other. They all know each other. And for the sake of not running into or dealing with the same person, I wanted something totally new and fresh. So I left and went somewhere else. And had a really good time. Really good time. She showed me all kinds of stuff. And fellas, older women, they know what they're doing. And she was only 2 years older than me, but they know what they're doing. So, and they know what they want. And I have to emphasize, do not brag to these women. Don't tell them that you're going to do this and that. Just let it be natural. Don't get them anticipating anything. Don't fill their heads with anything. Don't lie to them. Oh my God. Because if you are called up to bat, you better be ready to perform. Because that's what they're expecting. They want that treatment. You know, she wanted that treatment. She was like, I need you to crack my legs open, keep my feet, my toes in the air. And she was talking like with no filter. It was funny, shocking, just nothing I was prepared for. But I made the best of it, because this was probably like a once in a lifetime type of, well, maybe not a lifetime, because, you know, we kept on talking and kept on flirting around and making more and more arrangements. But the reality of it was, I couldn't keep going out to go see her, so I had to find some way that was clever, you know, to try to keep the channels open, but also stress that this was going to be something that I would be able to support long term, because I was still in the process of getting my divorce. That's going to be another conversation too. So, you know, she was like going above and beyond, because she was demanding all kinds of stuff. And I just was at a point where I was just like, you know what? I don't know what she expects or what she wants me to do, because like I said, it was nothing that I was used to. So there you go. And me being in LA with a woman, I was already in my head about who she might know, what this might be, what might happen. And then there's the whole issue of diseases and being safe, you know, let alone with somebody kidnapping or killing you or whatever, you know. So I had a whole bunch of stuff running through my mind on my way there. And then when I got there, to be hit with like all this direct, like, I want this, I want that, I want to do this, I want to do that. I was like, damn, is it really like this? Am I really going through this? And apparently I was. So overall though, I had a really good time. You know, she broke down when it was time for me to leave. She didn't want me to leave. Hell, I didn't want to leave. She treated me so good, I almost considered, you know, because she was like, you need to come move up here and stay with me in LA and all this. And I was just like, you know, LA is expensive. It's not Chicago. So I don't know how I could do that then. Job wise, it's not like I could take my job and transfer it at the time. So, you know, it was all wishful thinking, but nothing that I could perform for real, you know, because it was just like, I had a life in Chicago. I have, you know, kids and a house and a job. So all of that wasn't going to happen. But it was fun while it lasted. I do admit that. But it being practical, no. So guys, if you're online dating, be careful, you know, because there's diseases, there's safety issues, there's logistical issues, and there's that factor of, if you say it, you better mean it. You know what I'm saying? Talk the talk, walk the walk. Don't just be blurting out anything. I do this and I do that. Well, you know that's not the case, because they will test your ass. They'll test you. They will test you. And that's just, hang on, my watch it wants me to, I guess the rain has stopped me from getting my steps. I forgot, you know, when the rain touches the screen on your phone, it'll turn it off because of the water, the sensitivity. But overall, it was an awesome time. She showed me a really good time. I have no complaints. Beautiful woman, beautiful lady. Yeah, just guys, I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of women that are single and they're looking for a man, and you just have to be careful, because they expect certain things and you're gonna have to provide those certain things. So that's just my advice. So if you guys like the content, please like, share, subscribe. It'll help grow my channel, and I appreciate it so much. All right, guys, till next time.